3 girls from Umuoka did not come home last full moon. Their sandals were found by the river, side by side, like they had simply stepped out of them and vanished. Comfort keeps her daughter close now, eyes sharp every time the sun starts to fall. Blessing does not understand the fear yet. She is 22, and fear has never once stopped her from wanting more. Tonight, at the edge of the market, she will see a man no one else has ever seen before, and she will not look away. Blessing asks the cloth seller who the stranger is. The woman squints toward the market's edge and says she sees no one there at all. Blessing turns back, and he is still standing there, watching her. Not the crowd, not the stalls, only her. His eyes catch the last of the light like water catches fire. She should walk away. She takes a step forward instead. "Blessing," he says, before she has told him her name. His voice is low, even, like it has said her name 100 times before in a room she has never been in. She asks how he knows her. He only smiles and says the river told him. Behind her, Comfort's voice cuts through the market, sharp and afraid, calling her home. When Blessing turns back to answer him, the stranger is already gone, like he was never standing there at all. Comfort grabs her daughter's wrist tighter than she means to. She asks who Blessing was talking to at the market's edge, and Blessing says only a man, because she has no better word for what she saw. Comfort's face goes still in a way Blessing has never seen before. "No man stands where the light doesn't reach him," her mother says. Blessing laughs it off, but that night, lying awake, she cannot stop hearing her own name in his voice. He comes back 3 nights later, standing outside her family's fence just past sundown, as if he already knows this is her home. Blessing slips out before her mother notices, heart pounding louder than her footsteps. Up close, in the moonlight, he is even more beautiful than she remembered. Too beautiful, though she doesn't let herself think that word yet. He tells her his name is Success. He asks for nothing. He only asks to walk with her to the river, and she says yes before she has time to think about why she shouldn't. By the river, Success listens the way no man in the village ever has. Really listens, like her words matter more than his own reply. Blessing tells him about her father, gone 3 harvests now, and how the compound has felt too quiet since. She tells him she wants a life bigger than fetching water and waiting for someone to choose her. He looks at her for a long moment and says, "I did not come here to choose you. I came here because something already chose us both." Blessing should ask him what he means. She doesn't. She only feels, for the first time in 3 years, that the quiet in her chest has finally stopped. 3 weeks pass, and Success comes every night without fail, always after sundown, never once before. Blessing starts counting the hours until dusk instead of counting the hours until dawn. One night, by the river, he kneels in the wet sand and asks her to be his wife. He offers no bride price discussion, no mention of meeting her family, no talk of the customs every other man in Umuoka would follow. "Marry me tonight," he says, "under the moon, and I will never leave your side." Blessing's heart says yes before her mind finishes asking why he wants it done so fast. They marry that same night, at the river's edge, with no priest, no family, no witnesses but the moon and the water. Success ties a cord of woven black thread around Blessing's wrist instead of the customary beads her mother would have chosen. He tells her it is his family's way. Blessing does not ask what family, does not ask where his people are, does not ask why a man so striking has no mother, no father, no village of his own. She only feels his cold fingers close around hers and mistakes the chill for nerves. Blessing comes home at dawn with the black cord still on her wrist and a story already half built on her tongue. Comfort sees the thread before she hears a single word of explanation, and her walking stick drops to the floor. "You married him," she says, not a question. Blessing tries to explain the moonlight, the river, the way he listens like no one else ever has. Comfort's eyes fill, not with anger, but with something closer to grief. and she says words that will not leave Blessing's mind for weeks. I have seen that thread before, on a girl who is no longer with us. Comfort tells her the name, Patience, a girl from 3 villages over, who married a beautiful stranger 2 dry seasons ago and vanished before the next harvest. No body was found, no grave was dug, only a story passed quietly between mothers, warning their daughters never to marry a man who cannot say where he sleeps in daylight. Blessing asks her mother why she never told her this story before. Comfort's answer cuts deeper than she means it to. Because I never thought my own daughter would be foolish enough to need it. Blessing tries to untie the black thread that night, fingers working at the knot until her skin burns raw. It will not loosen. It will not tear. It sits on her wrist like it was woven into her, not around her. When success arrives at sundown, she asks him plainly why the cord will not come off. He looks at her wrist, then at her face, and for the first time since she met him, his calm slips, just for a breath, before he says, "Because it isn't finished yet." Word of the hasty marriage reaches Godwin, the village dibia, before Blessing ever seeks him out herself. He finds her at the well and studies her wrist without asking permission, his narrow eyes missing nothing. Black thread, tied at the river, by a man who will not stand in the sun. He says more to himself than to her. He tells her to bring her husband to him before the next full moon. In daylight, no exceptions. Blessing promises she will. She does not yet know how impossible that promise will be to keep. That night, Blessing tells Success what Godwin asked of them, that he must come to the Dibia's compound in daylight, no exceptions. Success's face does not change, but something behind his eyes goes very still. He tells her the sun disagrees with him, an old sickness from childhood, nothing more. Blessing wants to believe him the way she has believed every gentle lie he's given her so far. But for the first time, watching his mouth form the words, she notices his lips move a half second before any sound reaches her ears. Walking home that night, Blessing hears something move through the tall reeds beside the path. Heavy, slow, deliberate, dragging low against the earth. She freezes, certain an animal has followed her from the river. When she finally dares to look, there is nothing there, only the reeds swaying long after the wind has stopped. She tells herself it was nothing, but she walks the rest of the way home faster than she has ever walked in her life, the black thread on her wrist feeling heavier with every step. The full moon comes and goes, and Success never once sets foot in Godwin's compound. Blessing makes excuse after excuse to the old dibia. He is traveling. He is unwell. He will come next time. Godwin's patience thins with every visit, his narrow eyes reading the lie on her face long before she finishes speaking it. A husband who hides from an old man's eyes is hiding from something bigger than shame, he tells her. Blessing walks home that day with Godwin's words circling her mind like flies over spoiled meat. Success finally sends a bride price to Blessing's compound, but not through a brother, an uncle, or any relative who might sit and share a drink with Comfort. It arrives at dawn, left at the gate in a woven basket, no messenger in sight, no note, no explanation. Inside, cowries, cola nuts, and a single carved wooden snake, small enough to fit in a palm. Comfort stares at the wooden snake for a long time before she speaks. "This is not a gift," she finally says. "This is a mark." Blessing decides she will not wait for answers anymore. One night, instead of walking home when Success leaves her at the fence, she follows him at a careful distance, staying low behind the bamboo and brush. He does not walk toward the river as she expects. He walks deeper into the forest, past the tree line the village elders have always warned the children never to cross. Blessing's heart pounds so loud she is certain he will hear it. And just as the trees swallow him from sight, she steps on a dry branch that snaps like a gunshot in the silence. The forest goes utterly silent. No crickets, no wind, no birds startled from the branches. Blessing does not move, does not breathe, waiting for footsteps that never come. Then, slowly, impossibly slowly, she watches Success turn his head back over his shoulder toward her hiding place, though she is certain she made no further sound. His eyes find hers through the dark like he has always known exactly where she was standing. And for the first time since the market, Blessing understands what it feels like to be truly afraid of the man she married. Success does not chase her through the forest. He does not call her name or ask why she followed. He simply turns back around and continues walking deeper into the trees, as if she was never there at all, as if her fear means nothing next to whatever waits for him ahead. Blessing runs the whole way home, thorns tearing at her wrapper cloth, until she collapses against her own compound fence, gasping for air. She tells no one what she saw. She isn't sure yet what she actually saw. Godwin comes to Blessing's compound himself the next morning, staff in hand, before she has even finished sweeping the yard. He does not sit. He does not accept water. He simply asks her to describe exactly where in the forest she followed her husband, and his face changes when she tells him about the old tree line the elders warned children away from. "That is not forest," he says quietly. "That is the boundary. Nothing that lives past it is still counted among the living." That evening, Comfort sits Blessing down and finally tells her everything about Patience. How she too had followed her husband once. How she too had seen him vanish past a tree line no living man should cross. Comfort's voice shakes as she admits she was the one who found Patience's mother weeping at the river, days before Patience disappeared for good. "I told myself it was just a story to frighten children," Comfort says. "I was wrong to let you grow up thinking the same." Blessing waits for Success at the fence that night with her arms crossed and her mind made up. She tells him she knows about the boundary, about Patience, about every girl whose sandals were left by the river with no explanation. She demands the truth, plainly, with no more moonlit riddles. Success is quiet for a long time before he finally speaks. "If I tell you what I am," he says, "you will run from me before I finish the sentence, and I am not ready to lose you yet." Success turns from her, walking a few paces into the dark, and tells her to close her eyes if she wants him to stay her husband any longer. Curiosity has already cost Blessing too much to stop now, and she keeps them open. What she sees next will never fully leave her. His skin rippling like water disturbed by a stone, shifting, sliding, splitting down some invisible seam. She opens her mouth to scream, but no sound comes out at all, and the last thing she sees before the world tips sideways is a pair of amber gold eyes, unmistakably his, set now in a face that is no longer human. Blessing wakes at dawn on the riverbank, alone, her wrapper cloth damp with dew. For one confused breath, she wonders if it was only a nightmare, until she sees the deep drag marks in the sand leading from where she lay straight into the water. Success finds her there minutes later, fully human again, kneeling beside her with something in his face she has never seen before. Fear, not of her, but for her. "I did not want you to see that yet," he says. "Now you know why I never let you close your eyes." Success finally tells her what he is, a spirit bound to the river long before Umuoka had a name, cursed by a Dibia generations ago to wear human skin only at night and only near water. He says the curse can only be broken if a woman marries him and stays with him, of her own will, until one full year passes beneath the same moon that bound him. He has tried before. He has failed before. And every time he fails, the woman he chose disappears, not by his hand, but taken by the curse itself as payment for breaking its terms too soon. Blessing sits with this new truth like a stone in her stomach. She did not choose to be Patience, did not choose to inherit a curse that has already swallowed girls who trusted the wrong pair of eyes at a market's edge. She asks Success plainly what happens to her if she chooses to leave him right now, tonight, cord or no cord. His answer is almost gentle in how honestly it terrifies her. The thread decides that. Not me, not you. I have never once controlled what it takes. Blessing goes to Godwin alone this time, without Success, and tells the old Dibia everything. The forest, the shedding, the curse, the years she must survive. Godwin listens without interrupting, his staff tapping the ground once for every terrible detail. When she finishes, he does not tell her to run, and he does not tell her to stay. He tells her something far harder to hear. Every woman before you believed she could love a curse into forgetting what it is. Not one of them was wrong to try. All of them were wrong about how it ends. Blessing walks home from Godwin's compound already exhausted by everything she now carries, and finds a second woven basket waiting at her family's gate, identical to the first. Comfort stands frozen beside it, refusing to touch it, her face gray with dread. Inside, instead of cowries and cola nuts, there is only a single black thread, tied in the exact same knot as the one on Blessing's own wrist. It is still warm, as if it were cut from someone's skin only moments ago. Blessing forces herself to touch the warm thread, and the moment her skin meets it, a name rises in her mind unbidden, clear as if spoken aloud. Patience. Comfort goes still when Blessing repeats it, insisting the girl vanished 2 dry seasons ago, that this cannot be hers, that the dead do not send baskets. But Blessing has learned enough these past weeks to know that vanished and dead are not the same word, and the two of them stare at the thread like it might start speaking on its own. Blessing confronts Success with the thread the moment he arrives that night, demanding to know if Patience is alive, dead, or something in between. For the first time, he does not answer smoothly. He tells her the truth in pieces, like it costs him something to say each one. Patience did not disappear into the curse's payment the way the village believes. Patience ran past the boundary, into the place he cannot follow in daylight, into the one place the curse itself cannot reach. She is the only one who ever survived me, he says, and she is still out there. Blessing asks the only question that matters now. If Patience escaped past the boundary, can she do the same? Success's silence stretches long enough to answer before his words do. He tells her the boundary is not a place a man walks through. It is a place a person survives, if the curse chooses to let them, and it rarely does. He warns her that Patience is likely the reason he cannot let the thread simply release her. Whatever waits past that tree line does not give back what it takes without a price of its own. Blessing hears an idea start to take shape anyway, dangerous and quiet, at the very back of her mind. Blessing brings her plan to Godwin. She wants to find Patience herself, to learn how one girl survived the boundary when so many others did not. Godwin's reaction surprises her. He does not call it foolish. He tells her, grimly, that he was the one who cursed Success in the first place. Generations of Dibia lineage ago passed down through him, and that he has spent his whole life trying to atone for a punishment that grew crueler than he ever intended. I did not curse him to take wives, Godwin admits. That part, the spirit added on its own. Blessing asks Godwin the obvious question. If he made the curse, can he unmake it? His answer chills her more than anything Success has said so far. No. The moment the spirit twisted the punishment into something of its own design, it slipped fully out of Godwin's control, becoming a hunger with rules no Dibia's ritual can override. Godwin's staff trembles slightly in his grip as he tells her the last part, the part he has never said aloud to anyone. There is one thing that can end it clean, she says, but it has never once been done without costing the woman everything she has. Godwin finally says the thing plainly. The only clean end to the curse is for the woman bound to Success to walk into the boundary herself, of her own choosing, and offer herself to whatever waits there in his place. If she survives it, the curse breaks entirely, forever, for every woman who might come after her. If she does not, she simply joins the girls whose sandals were left neatly by the river. Blessing sits with that silence for a long moment before she asks the only thing left to ask. Has anyone ever survived it? Godwin does not answer. He does not need to. Blessing tells Success what Godwin revealed, half expecting him to stay silent the way he always does when the truth is ugly. Instead, for the first time, he raises his voice, tells her absolutely not. Tells her he would rather carry this curse another 100 years than watch her walk into that tree line the way the others did. You did not choose this curse, he says, gripping her shoulders. You will not die undoing a debt that was never yours to pay. Blessing hears the fear underneath his anger, and for the first time she realizes he loves her enough to keep her trapped rather than risk losing her free. While Blessing wrestles with Success's refusal, Comfort has quietly begun her own plan without telling her daughter. She visits Godwin alone the next morning and asks him a very different question. Not how to break the curse, but how to protect Blessing from ever needing to. Godwin tells her honestly that no protection has ever held against the thread once it is tied. But Comfort has buried a husband and nearly lost a daughter to grief once already, and she is done waiting for permission to fight for the one child she has left. That night, alone by the river with the black thread heavy on her wrist, Blessing makes the decision she has been circling for days. She will not wait for the curse to choose her fate. She will not let Success carry this alone for another 100 years, watching more girls disappear because he was too afraid to let her try. She writes nothing, tells no one, and simply begins walking toward the old tree line under a moon just one night short of full, because she knows if she waits until morning, her courage will not survive the daylight. Blessing is halfway to the tree line when she hears footsteps behind her, quick and uneven, and turns to find Comfort following with her walking stick raised like a weapon against the dark. Her mother had guessed exactly what Blessing would do the moment she noticed her daughter's empty sleeping mat. "If you are foolish enough to walk into that place," Comfort says, breathless but unshaking, "then you are not walking into it alone." Behind them both, unseen, something in the tall grass begins to move toward the boundary too, matching their pace exactly, step for step. The shape in the grass reveals itself the moment they reach the edge of the tree line. Not a threat, but Success, already shifted halfway between man and serpent, unable to stop himself from following once he sensed the thread moving toward the boundary. He begs Blessing one last time to turn back, his voice cracking between two forms, two natures fighting for control of the same breath. Comfort steps between them without hesitation, walking stick raised, refusing to let anything, cursed man or hungry spirit, decide her daughter's fate for her. Blessing steps around her mother and faces Success directly, telling him plainly this was never his decision to make, just as it was never fully his curse to carry alone. She tells Comfort, gently but firmly, that she needs her mother's blessing, not her mother's shield. The two women hold each other for a long moment beneath the moonlight, saying without words everything that might be their last chance to say it. Then Blessing turns from them both and steps toward the tree line, and the darkness beyond it seems to lean toward her, as if it has been waiting. The moment Blessing crosses the tree line, the sounds of the ordinary world vanish completely. No crickets, no wind, no distant river. The trees here grow wrong, twisted in on themselves like they are trying to escape their own roots, and the ground beneath her feet feels less like earth and more like something holding its breath. A voice reaches her from somewhere close and nowhere at all, low and layered, neither male nor female, neither young nor old. Another one, it says, "They always send the brave ones first." Blessing follows the voice deeper until the twisted trees open into a small clearing. And there, sitting calmly on a fallen log like she has been waiting years for company, is a woman Blessing recognizes instantly from the stories. Patience, alive, older than her years should allow. A black thread still wrapped, faded, and gray around her own wrist. Patience does not look surprised to see her. She only says, quiet and tired, "You came to finish what I started and never could." Blessing realizes, with a cold drop in her stomach, that surviving the boundary and escaping it were never the same thing. Patience explains the truth Success never knew. The boundary does not release the women who enter it. It keeps them, ageless and unaging in a strange half-life, as its own quiet payment for every year the curse goes unbroken. She ran from Success believing she was escaping, only to learn she had traded one captivity for another, one just far crueler because no one on the outside even knows to grieve her. The only true ending, Patience says, was always the one Godwin was too afraid to say all the way to its finish. Patience finally says the part of the ritual Godwin left unspoken. The curse breaks only if the woman offers not her presence, but her place. willingly trading herself for every woman trapped before her, freeing them all at the cost of taking their place in the boundary forever. It is not a battle to survive. It is a permanent exchange, one soul unbound for every soul still caught. Blessing looks at Patience, at the years stolen from her face, and understands exactly what true courage is about to cost her. Patience asks Blessing gently if she still intends to go through with it, now that she knows the true price is not death, but disappearance. Every memory of her slowly fading from everyone who ever loved her, the way the village has already half forgotten Patience's own name. Blessing thinks of Comfort's face in the moonlight, of Success's hands shaking as he begged her not to come. Then she thinks of every girl whose sandals were left neatly by a river, waiting for someone brave enough to make sure they were the last ones. Her voice does not shake at all when she finally answers. Blessing opens her mouth to say yes, and Patience stops her with a raised hand before the word can leave her lips. "That is not the answer I need from you," Patience says. "The boundary does not take what is offered in guilt or fear. It only takes what is given freely, by someone who has already made peace with never being remembered." She tells Blessing to go back to the clearing's edge and sit with that truth until sunrise, because a choice made in one desperate night is not the same as a choice a woman has actually chosen to live inside. Through the long hours before sunrise, Blessing does not think of dying, because Patience made clear this was never that. She thinks instead of her father's laugh, gone 3 harvests now, and how she never once resented that memory even after losing him. She thinks of Comfort's hands, rough and constant, and realizes love was never about being remembered. It was about the remembering itself, which no boundary could ever take back once it had already happened. When the first gray light touches the twisted trees, Blessing stands, and for the first time all night, her decision feels like her own instead of a debt. Blessing finds Patience waiting exactly where she left her and tells her, simply and without tears, that she is ready, not out of fear, not out of guilt, but because she has chosen it with clear eyes. Patience takes her hand, and the moment their palms touch, both black threads, Blessing's fresh, Patience's faded, begin to glow faintly, unwinding themselves like smoke pulled loose by wind. The twisted trees around them shudder once, deeply, as though the whole boundary has finally exhaled a breath it has held for generations. Patience's aged face begins, slowly, impossibly, to grow young again. Patience walks out of the forest alone at sunrise, young again, whole again, and finds Comfort and Success still waiting exactly where Blessing left them. She tells them what happened, gently, honestly, giving them no comfort they haven't earned the hard way. Success's composure breaks completely for the only time in the whole story, and Comfort's scream echoes across the river loud enough to wake half of Umuoka. In the weeks that follow, the village will tell a softened version of what happened, that Blessing married well and moved far away, because some truths are easier to carry as a story than as a scar. Years pass, and the black thread never appears at another gate in Umuoka again. Success stays near the river still, human only at night, but he never marries again, and the girls who once watched him from market stalls learn to look away when dusk falls. Comfort keeps a single amber bead from her daughter's waist beads on a string around her own neck until the day she dies, refusing every version of the story except the true one, the one she tells only to Patience, who visits every full moon without fail. Somewhere past the old tree line, if you stand very still at the boundary's edge on a quiet night, the villagers say you can still hear someone humming a tune her mother used to sing her to sleep with. Proof, they say, that love, even swallowed whole by a curse, never quite finishes leaving. If this story stayed with you, hit subscribe. More folktales like this one are coming. And tell me in the comments, would you have made the same choice Blessing did?